Hey guys, in this video I will be installing this cheapest air conditioning I could find to my garage. So if you're interested to see how I'm going to tackle this, stay tuned. So here in Europe, you're not really allowed to install any kind of air conditioning equipment yourself. You need a special license and a special training to be able to do that. So what I'm going to be doing today is more or less illegal, but just for the record, I will have a professional watching over my shoulder throughout the whole time.
So I ordered this kit from a Polish website. It contained the mini split unit itself and then also a set of copper hoses, cables, drain hose and a mounting bracket for the outdoor unit. I've ordered a 5 meter long kit because, as you will see, this wasn't a simple through wall installation. First I've unwrapped and straightened the copper pipes and laid down everything in my garage. Now everything looked correct apart from the drain hose, which was only about 3 meters. But I didn't even use it at the end because the AC unit came with a pretty long hose itself. Nice thing about this kit is that the copper pipes already come with flares, so you only need to connect them together. Now this mini split unit was literally the cheapest I could find with 12,000 BTU cooling capacity, so I didn't expect too much and the cheap build quality is apparent throughout the whole unit. But it did come with a Wi-Fi adapter. Nice! Now the outdoor unit is again nothing special, really simple and frankly cheap. Now here you can see the additional drain hose which was included in the package. And it also looks a bit smaller than the other 12,000 BTU units I have at my house. Unpacking the indoor unit, it looks nice, well, as any other AC, but the quality is visibly cheaper compared to brand name units. Next I'm testing out the location of where I want to install the outdoor unit and measuring out the center of the wall. Then test fitting the mounting bracket to mark all the holes I need to drill. This is a brick wall, so drilling it takes a second and I need to use these wall plugs to install. Once the bracket is mounted, I'm test fitting the unit to mark the location where I need to drill the big hole for all the hoses and cables. Now I've bought this big 65mm drill to drill out these holes. I drilled the hole with a small downward angle, but later I realized I should have used a different angle altogether, so I had to widen the hole, but you'll see that later. Anyway, the drill was also a bit too short for this wall, so I actually used the long drill to get through the wall and then finish the hole from the other side. Not the best tool for the job, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. The hole turned out nice and straight though. Now as the next step I'm going to install the Wi-Fi module, which needs to go to connector number 16 as per the included circuit diagram. By the looks of it, this seems to be a UART communication connector. Fun fact, there was no screw included for this, so I had to find some in my garage. So the indoor unit is connected with the outdoor unit with a 4-wire cable. 3 of them are the usual power connections and there is one communication wire. Given these are stranded wires, I'm using this ferrules kit which I recently bought from AliExpress. It worked surprisingly well. With that connected, the cabling part of the indoor unit is completed. In the next step, I decided to connect the copper pipes to the indoor unit and then pull them through all the holes. Before connecting the copper pipes, I'm inspecting the flares just to make sure there are no visible scratches or any debris. Then I'm releasing the nitrogen for the indoor unit, which is basically used as a storage gas. After connecting the lines, I'm tightening them snug with 2 wrenches. I know it should be tightened to a specific torque, but I don't have a 22mm open-ended torque socket and I also think this will be just fine. Now I'm wrapping the hose with its included tape, which I think is mainly supposed to protect them, and you can see my dad helping me with this. Here I've made the first mistake, that I somehow didn't align the copper hoses and the drain hose properly while the hole was in the wall. So all this wrapping I had to redo again off camera after we tried to fit the indoor unit. I bought these PVC cable ducts, which are specifically made for these AC installations, so before pulling through the hoses I need to install these. Even though in this shot it seems like the cable duct is going upwards, I'm actually using the yellow spirit level to ensure there is a slight drop so that the water condensation can drain out. Here you can already see the widened hole in the wall. I did it simply to avoid creating too sharp bends in the copper pipes. Now we are about to pull through the wall the wrapped hoses, and it was working fine, but I was struggling to hang the indoor unit as the hoses were a bit too thick and there seemed to be very little space. Now we installed the hoses into the PVC ducts. I had to make sure the copper pipes are straight so they are not pushing out of the ducts, and then I installed the corner piece which will hold it in place for now. Next step was to drill the second big hole, this time to the outside. It was the same process, the drill bit is a bit short, so I had to drill it from both sides. But I think it turned out pretty good. Now I just have to get all the hoses through the hole and ensure that the drain hole is always the lowest so that the condensate water can drain. Finally, both cables need to be pulled through, and they turned out to be barely long enough. Anyway, now we need to install the outdoor unit, and as you will see, the place where I want to install it is a little bit tight. There is a small shed on the outside next to this garage wall, so I'll be installing the outdoor unit just underneath the gutter and above the shed's roof. This wall hanger bracket came with the kit, and here I had to ensure a very precise location because there is very little room above and underneath. Now when I tightened the screw, I realized there is not enough space in the channel of this hanger for the socket, so I had to go back to a regular wrench. In the AC kit they included this play-doh type of material to cover up the hole. Now mounting this outdoor unit was a massive pain, mainly because I didn't have almost any access from the bottom, and also the screws were almost too short. So I'll spare you the struggles I had with installing these screws. And given it was way too hot outside, I moved inside, so I continue with installing a cable channel for the main wiring going to the outdoor unit and also installing new breaker. Now this is the dangerous part, so make sure you get a professional to install your wiring. Anyway, the 3-phase breaker you can see is used for my scissor lift and a single breaker for the air compressor. Here you can see me checking the tester and if all 3 phases are present. Then I'm switching off the power coming to this breaker box so that I can install the additional leg for the new breaker that I've added. Once I switch back the power, I double check if everything is working as expected. And with that, the breaker box is connected, so I can close it. I believe all the ductwork turned out pretty good. What do you guys think? So let's install the outdoor unit, and first I want to connect the copper pipes. I need to bend them really carefully because I don't want to kink them. Now again, I know I should use a torque wrench, but I tightened these snug with simple wrench. Installing the cables is really simple, so I'm not going to bore you with it, but here's the result. So the next very important step is vacuuming the lines. Last year I bought this vacuum pump when I was repairing the AC condenser on my BMW M5. Thankfully I get to use it now for this job as well. I just need to install the correct adapter for the outdoor unit. Then I just connect it to the AC service port and turn on the vacuum pump. Once I open the low side valve, you can hear on the pump how the sound changes, and it started pulling out the air from all the lines, and you can see the needle dropping. Now usually this should run about half an hour, but I was in no rush, so I let it run for about an hour just to be safe. Then I closed the blue low side valve and shut off the pump and let it sit for the night. After about 22 hours I came back and saw that we are still nicely holding vacuum, so that made me pretty confident that there are no leaks and all the connections are good. Therefore I opened the valve and let the refrigerant fill the lines. You can see the pressure raising on the blue meter. And then I quickly removed the hose. Then I fully opened both valves and closed the service port covers. I was actually planning to use soapy water to check for any leaks, but I honestly forgot. Now, I didn't like the fact that the insulation on these pipes was a bit short, and also I think it was rather thin. So I've used this black foam insulation, which is used for cooling and heating pipes, and it has a very good insulating properties. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the result.
Okay guys, everything is installed, everything is ready, so let's find out now if this is even working. So I'm happy to report that this is working. I mean, after all, it's not a rocket science to install one of these. But anyway, I installed this mainly to have some kind of heating in the winter because I don't have any kind of heating in the garage. In the summer we have a couple of hot days like today where it's going to be really useful to have the air conditioning, but that was not really the primary reason for me. Now I could get this installed probably somewhere in the range of 1,000 euros. And because I said it's one of the cheapest air conditioning I could find, let me get you a cost breakdown of what I paid for all of this. So the air conditioning unit together with hoses and cables and hangers for the outside unit costed 430 euros. Now I had to pay additional 40 euros for these PVC gutters, cable gutters, whatever you want to call them. So this was really a good price and I'm happy with that. I mean, if I would do it again, I would probably buy a bit more expensive unit, maybe something of a better quality. But still, this is going to work for the garage. So anyway guys, I hope you like this, I hope you learned something new. If you want to try and do something yourself, good luck with that, and thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.